yesterday in the WNBA draft. Lots of notifications on social media, lots of things going on. It's fantastic. It's beautiful, right? Like, we love to see the WNBA and women's sports as a whole getting this level of attention, right? They deserve this level of attention. I when you put a product on the court and it's a quality product, it deserves to be recognized by those people who recognize that type of product, right? Like, that's only right. It only makes sense that happens. It only makes sense that we get to see these young ladies more because these young ladies have earned that right. And so it was interesting to me when I saw reports come out about Caitlin Clark's contract, like, as if this was some surprise. People started talking about Caitlin Clark's contract as if it was criminal that she was being paid so little. I want to pull up the contract because I think it's important to note what people are talking about, and then give you kind of an understanding of what people probably meant when they were saying that she was losing money by going into the WNBA draft. Like, I think it's interesting, right? We talk about how you should always strive to get to the highest level of anything, only for people to tell us that in her case she should just stay where she is. Like that seems to be backwards thinking, or at least, if nothing else, convenient thinking, right? Like, it's convenient now for her to stay and maximize her dollar. But I like the fact that she went to the WNBA, and I'm gonna tell you why. The thought process behind her not being able to maximize her dollars in the WNBA, they just make no sense, right? Like, I can't really even think of another way to put it. They don't make any sense. And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't make any sense. Because at Iowa, they were paying her nothing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in case you forgot it, name, image, and likeness is not paid by the university. Name, image, and likeness is not a check that these young men and young women get from the university. It is a check that they get from a third party, right? It's a check that they get from a third party. Basketball, that's how it works. They get paid from money that they get from a third party. It's not the other way around. It's not the school saying, hey, pay these people. It's the third party reaching out and saying, hey, we want to be in business with Caitlin Clark. So if Caitlin Clark leaves Iowa and goes to Indianapolis, Indiana, why would those entities that wanted to be in business with Caitlin Clark want to now not be in business with Caitlin Clark? That doesn't make any sense, right? That doesn't equate. That doesn't compute. I don't get how that's a thing, right? And so the talk on Caitlin Clark was that, you know, it's a shame how much money she's making from the WNBA. And I want to pull it up, and you have to excuse me, I'm a one-man band over here, so I got a lot of things rocking, but you know, it's still just me. So the Morning Brew, and I'm gonna just call some people out because these people are really or these entities are really annoying. The Morning Brew had a thing where they put up the contract, and it's a 4-year, $338,000 contract by the WNBA. There's the first year is 76.5, the second year is 78, the third year is 85.8, and the fourth year, which is an option year, is 97K. Now, I'm assuming that this is the rookie contract, right? For the number one pick. Now, in the NBA, which Yahoo Sports was so gung-ho to post, Yahoo Sports says Caitlin Clark, 4 years, $338,000. And then it says for Victor Wembanyama, 4 years, $55.1 million. There's just one problem with this. Just one problem. The NBA is a money-making league. And the WNBA is not turning profits where they can pay their players this level of money. You know what Yahoo Sports should do? Yahoo Sports can invest in the WNBA. If Yahoo Sports believes that it's unfair that Caitlin Clark and all of the women, right? Because if Caitlin Clark's contract is the highest, then guess what? Everybody else is getting less money. So if Yahoo Sports has a problem with Caitlin Clark's rookie contract, why don't they invest? Why don't they invest? NBA Central, the Dunk Central, like people who don't understand these things will never understand these things. You think Caitlin Clark went to the WNBA because she was worried about the WNBA's contract? Caitlin Clark already has deals in excess of $3 million a year. She has deals with Gatorade. She has deals with Nike. Right? She's got money. She's got money. If the WNBA's revenue, right? If the WNBA's revenue is somewhere around $60 million, and the NBA's revenue is something around $10 billion, then, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't difficult to figure out. There's a reason why you make more money as a server at Carrabba's than you do as a server at your local mom and pop restaurant. There's a reason why you make more money, right, as a writer for ESPN than you do as a writer for your smaller startup writing. I'll give you an example. I'll use myself for an example. I write for Giants Country, and I write for The Athletic. I do just as good a work for Giants Country as I do for The Athletic. I'm not cutting corners anywhere. I bring my best foot forward. I try to be engaging. I try to write content that people want to read more than once, that people want to come back to. I try to give honest opinions when my opinion is inserted into a column. I try to give solid evidence that people can look up and research. I do all of these things. I do it equally for Giants Country as I do for The Athletic. Ladies and gentlemen, on a per article basis, I make way more money at The Athletic than I do at Giants Country. And it's not a shade to anyone. It's not a shade to anyone. Well, then why don't you just, write more for The Athletic? Hey, homeboy, homegirl, don't you think I would if I could? The game is the game. So it's my job, right? It's my job as the talent to figure out how to take my talent and maximize it to its best potential. To not only be talent, but to be a boss. Why do you think people talk about bosses being bosses all the time? Right? You think Caitlin Clark is worried about $70-something thousand when she's making $3 million every year? And not for nothing, ladies and gentlemen, but that $70-something thousand that she's making this year is $70-something thousand that she hasn't made over the past 4 years. If you really want to be upset, if you really want to be mad that Caitlin Clark left Iowa and went to the WNBA, don't be mad at the WNBA. Be mad at Iowa. Be mad at the NCAA. Because if they were paying their players, then they could have paid Caitlin Clark to stay. Caitlin Clark, as a business, is worth more to Iowa than she is to the WNBA. Don't believe me? Just watch. Iowa's women's basketball team, as we speak, is losing players. The Skelky, the big girl from Iowa, the big, she's already gone. Super cute, by the way, too. She's already gone. Iowa women's basketball will go right back to being what Iowa women's basketball was when Caitlin Clark showed up. And in a world where you can get paid or not get paid, Iowa has been able to reap the benefits of Caitlin Clark for free for 4 years and did not set themselves up for the time when Caitlin Clark would no longer be with them. What has the recruiting classes looked like since you were able to luck up and land Caitlin Clark because she lived around you? If you want to be mad at anybody, don't be mad at the WNBA. Be mad at yourselves. If you patronize the WNBA more, right? If you watched more, if you went to games more, if you bought more merch, if you used your dollars and you infused them into the WNBA, the way you infuse them in the NBA, the way you have started to infuse them into women's basketball, then guess what the WNBA would have? More revenue. And more revenue means better opportunities for these young ladies to be paid better. But it's going to take a whole lot for them to get to $10 billion. And if you want to sit here and tell me that these young ladies deserve as much as these young men coming into the NBA, I'll just ask you one thing. When a computer programmer comes out of college and they go to Apple, they go to Microsoft, they go to Google, are they making the same amount of money as people who go to the smaller boutique place? Are they making as much money as somebody that doesn't have the dollars and the machinery behind them to support that type of salary? And if they do go there is so little margin for error. The first thing you do, we just bring the next person in. Why? Because we can't afford to have you screwing this up. Google can take some L's, right? Facebook can take some L's. X can take some L's. Apple can take some L's. Amazon can take some L's. Your mom and pop, computer programming type of place can't. So if you're making great money over there, you can't afford not to hit. The same way with writing. If you get a writing job, how many times have we seen it? People out here with writing jobs, working for XYZ fantasy this or XYZ draft that or XYZ hoop de jour this and baseball fanatic that. They come out, they're gung-ho, they're living the life, they're making all of this money. Everything is Gucci. Except when the hard times hit, and the money gets low because they don't have the rich, robust infrastructure with the wells upon wells of money underneath them, they crumble. That's what happens with these startup fly-by-night postgraduate programs. These startup fly-by-night postgraduate programs, they come out, they're doing their thing, they get a couple really good players, they're making moves, but the moment they don't have success, they don't have enough money to weather the storm. They don't have enough dollars to ensure that life keeps going the way that life is supposed to go while they get back up. And because they don't have that, because that doesn't exist for them, they struggle. Right? Because they're not able to make that happen, they struggle. It's not their fault. It's not something anyone can do anything about. It's just a reality of life. And in this reality, in this life, if you're not winning to a level that people continuously want to pour money into what you're doing, then guess what? It's going to be a hard existence for you. Period. End. It's going to be a difficult existence. And so all we can do is judge them on what they have in front of them right now. So if you're a Caitlin Clark, that 70-something thousand, I'm not even thinking about this 70-something thousand. This 70-something thousand is to the good. This 70-something thousand is built so that I can put stuff away for a rainy day. I don't have to touch this 70-something thousand I'm making. I'm gonna max out my retirement, my pension for the WNBA because I can, right? And that's probably pre-taxed, so now I don't have to worry about tax dollars on like taking some of that money. So now they're taking a little bit of less money, which means that the money goes a little further. I'm putting the other money into investment. So that means I'm going to make my money make money for me. I'm going to live off of these robust endorsements that I have that are bringing in $3 million that are about to get even bigger because now I'm on a bigger platform. Now, if you want to know what Caitlin Clark could have done, if she was really a G like this, she could have dropped them on the table and said, hey, listen, I'm the reason why you're about to make the money that you're making. I'm the reason why almost every last one of your games are televised this year. I'm the reason that people are running out to go get a Caitlin Clark jersey. I'm the reason that people are going to be filling the stands. It's going to be to see me play. I'm going to need a piece. I know that you don't make enough money to pay me. Keep the salary. I want a percentage. I want a percentage. So as you grow and as you are going to make this year more money than you've ever made, Indiana, as there's an unprecedented level of attention being paid to you, Indiana, I want to reap the benefits because I'm responsible. And when I'm no longer here, because I was able to elevate you, I want to still be able to like reap the benefits. I don't need much. I just need a piece, a little small piece in perpetuity. And as your stock rises, guess what? My stock rises. We all win. But to make this about, oh, well, these contracts are ridiculous and Caitlin Clark deserves more than that, and she's losing money because she's leaving college. You people just apparently don't understand how business works. Apparently, when people were giving business 101 lessons, none of you were listening. Because she can't lose money. Her endorsement deals, right? Because that's what name, image, and likeness is. It's an endorsement deal, is not attached to her being at Iowa. If she would have transferred and went to Southern California next year, guess what would have followed her? Her NIL deals. You know how I know? Because we've seen it with the guys. Caleb Williams took the endorsement deals that he had at Oklahoma and went to Southern California with them. If she would have transferred to Texas, guess what would have went with her? Her NIL deals. Why? Because we've seen it happen. And the interesting part about it for me is that she has the added bonus of being one of the anomalies. A really, really good white female basketball player. It doesn't even matter about her looks. She's winning. Nobody's out here going, oh my gosh, Caitlin Clark is drop dead gorgeous. That's why we want to have her out there. Oh, and she's good. None of it is even about looks. That's what's so fly. You don't have to worry about being like people objectifying her if that turns you off, or her only getting endorsement deals because she's good looking. She's fly on the court. And because she is who she is, and the albino what do they call it? The albino grizzly bear of it. The fact that you just don't see this often. A white woman be this cold at basketball, be this diverse at basketball. Yeah. Like, we can address the elephant in the room. Is she doing anything? Is her game so much different than others' games that have come before her who have been really, really good? Hey, I hate to break the news to y'all. She's not the first girl I've seen pull up deep. It's just something different about it. And I ain't mad because it's fun to watch. And I think she's going to get all the money. But if she really wanted to hardcore leverage, she could have leveraged. Sometimes you just have to decide what it is you want to do and what it is you're not comfortable with doing. Hey, when we come back, we'll be joined by Mike Margittai, Mike Margittai of Football Alliance. We'll talk about him and all of his travels and everything that he's been doing over the past year. Make sure you stay tuned. This is Talk Spicy on the, I am struggling to talk today. This is Talk Spicy on the Riptide Media Network. And you make sure that you catch us on the Sports Radio 102.9 app. Go ahead and download that wherever you do your downloads. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Mike Margittai.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
That song as I was thinking about my guy, and I'm going to bring him on right now. Thinking about my guy, Mike Margittai. Did I get it right?
No, but it's okay.
You know what? I'm going to help me
Margittai.
out. Margittai. Why do I keep saying I feel like I get it sometimes and then I don't get it. Like I overthink it. You know what?
Well, I mean, if you're being American phonetic, then soft G with an I following it. So I understand where it's coming from, but you know, it's a Hungarian name.
Margittai, Mike Margittai. My guy Mike Margittai is essentially he's a domestic man of leisure right now. He is all over the states. Where are you right now?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah, you had to think about where you were.
Which ironically, this is where you and I met up for the Super Bowl last year. I'm probably like 2 blocks away from where you did karaoke.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, no. So, full disclosure, Mike and I know each other from before last Super Bowl when he was still living in the Tampa Bay area. I'm a Bay Area guy, and we got it was somewhere around about when the Super Bowl stuff was going on, and he was heading west, and he just started driving. Ended up in Arizona. I happened to be in Arizona covering the Super Bowl. We linked up, and we had an epic night where I was singing karaoke, and he was too afraid to sing karaoke. Are we calling it shy?
Calling it shy.
Okay, we're gonna call it shy. He was too shy. I'm even gonna look at the camera. Too shy to do karaoke. But again, a great guy, a guy who is really out here just making things happen and doing some of the things that probably have been on his heart to do for a long time. I know a lot of people have probably felt that way at one point in time. And so I really thought it'd be great to have a conversation. So Mike, thank you for joining me with all of that being said.
I appreciate you having me. Anytime I get a chance to talk to you, dude, it's always a good time.
So tell me, what has the last year plus looked like for you since that Super Bowl till now? Another Super Bowl has passed, and you're still kind of kicking around doing your thing.
So when I left Florida, I was still under 100,000 miles on the car, and I just went over 155,000. So that's in, what is it? April. Yeah, it's been 14 months, and I've put over 55,000 miles on the car.
Wow. That's yeah, okay.
I've crossed the country a few times. I mean, that can almost get you to the moon and back, right?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, so tell us what when you decided that you were going to take off, what was the initial thought process, and what has it become? Like, what has it transformed into?
So realistically, the reason that I took off in the first place was because we had our epic failure with the website and with our Facebook following essentially falling out and losing all of our traffic. Put me into a really bad depression, and I just needed to change my environment. I needed to get out and see other things, do other things, feel something again, because I had been, for the 2-3 years prior to that, I had spent probably 12 to 16 hours most days working to build everything up, and then it all just kind of fell apart all of a sudden. So I needed to do something pretty much completely opposite of what I had been doing. I had always wanted to travel. I just never was able to for circumstances, good or bad. Either not having the financial resources to do it at certain points, or just being too busy with the business at other points. And it all just kind of came to a head, and I just went full send on it and just had to get out and see everything that I could see.
And so when you did that, because I think this is important. Like, a lot of us have been at a place in our lives where we felt like nothing was going the way we wanted it to go. Like, where we felt like forces maybe even greater than just what we knew were colluding to watch us, go down. And a lot of people don't find a way out. A lot of people don't find the levity that it seems that you've been able to kind of come to. What helped you come to terms with what had happened, and what's fueling you now moving forward to keep things going in the direction that you want them to go?
Realistically, I still haven't really come to terms with it. You can even call this kind of an avoidance of the reality that is. Like, I'm still trying to work on things here and there, but it was basically a full pivot from having invested so much effort and energy into it. And I'm still trying to kind of figure out where to go. But what I have learned is to just do things, is be very see, I'm in a fortunate position. I can call it fortunate. Other people might see it differently, but like, I don't have anything holding me down. I'm not, I'm single. I don't have any kids. Like, I don't have any responsibilities to anybody but myself. So I can just spontaneously drive from here to Seattle and be there in 3 days. Or what I'm going to be doing is, driving from here to Detroit in a few days for the NFL draft, with a pretty epic lineup of stops along the way, and even after. And it's all pretty spontaneous. It's not really anything that I didn't start this trip with all these plans and ideas. I just did it to get out of my environment and just change something up. And like I said, just see as much and do as much as I possibly could. Like, I know that you wanted to talk about the spring training thing. I had just gotten back out to my spot out in California that I really happened across last year and really loved it there. And I thought that I was going to be there for a few months. And 3 days into being there, I just kind of got the spontaneous idea that I wanted to do a spring training thing. And, you know, 2 days later, I'm back down in Phoenix again, and, you know, just doing what I'm doing, man. Just kind of very much in the breeze.
So tell us about the spring training, your spring training hop. You know, I by the way, I love the idea because I mean, and you probably done it down in Florida as well, where every day you
Yeah.
were at a different, you know, spring training game. But how is it to have that level of freedom to say, I'm just going to go and I'm going to hit the Cactus League hard, you know, and see what it's like over here as opposed to the Grapefruit League down in Florida?
And being down in Florida, you know, definitely Grapefruit League veteran, had never done it in Arizona, so I didn't really know what to expect until I, you know, just kind of I got the idea that I wanted to do something, and I started to do research. And I, in my very first few minutes of doing research, I realized that they were all within the Phoenix corridor, like all 15 teams that train in the 10 stadiums, the 10 ballparks, are all within 45 minutes of each other. It's completely different in Florida. You might have to drive 5 hours if you're going from, say, Clearwater or Dunedin all the way down to, you got Vero Beach, you got Jupiter. That would probably be the furthest distance between, you know, Dunedin and Jupiter. You might be driving 5 hours in that case. So it's completely different in that regard. Everything's super close. So it made that idea really feasible, where I kind of set my mind to, okay, I'm going to do all 10 ballparks. I'm going to do all 15 teams. How condensed can I possibly do this? Can I do it in a 10-day period? So I built up an itinerary where I literally did, and I actually did 2 bonus games also. I did 1 day-night doubleheader, and I did 1 extra day for an extra game. So I ended up doing 12 games in 11 days, covered all 15 teams, all 10 ballparks, and it was just a fantastic time.
You've also, on top of that, which is, I mean, it's fly within itself, but then you've also been able to go out and see different pro days. It's
Absolutely.
something that I've always wanted to do. One of the things that I really want to do is to take a spring and hit up just as many pro days as I possibly can. But you know, that's difficult when you have an anchor job, you know, kind of keeping you a little bit tethered to the road. But you just said, "Hey, I'm going over here," and you like, "Hey, anybody want a question? Like, anybody want to ask some questions?"
I do what I want, man.
Yeah, no, it's fly, like that level of freedom. A lot of people have talked about it. Like I've had my brothers even talked about, hey, you know, when I retire, I just want to I want to sell everything. I want to have an RV, and I just want to live wherever I want to live, whenever I want to live it. But it's one thing to say it, and there's another thing to do it, right? So what has been the most rewarding thing that you've done so far in this chapter of your life?
Honestly, it's not even the sports stuff. It's just exploring, look, I think that everybody should take a year after high school where they don't jump right into college and they travel, whether in a small group or solo, because you learn so much, not just about yourself, but just so many different perspectives when you get outside your normal bubble. I've met people on the back roads of Idaho. I've met people in, you know, obviously all sorts of different cities, but like, you just meet so many different people with so many different perspectives, and it's so enlightening. And then I'm a nature lover, so I go to, you know, I've been a lot of scenic places, a few national parks. That's been the most rewarding for me, you know, outside of the sports. I mean, the sports it's what I do, you know, it kind of gives a little bit of a reason to have a reason to go to Seattle or a reason to go wherever. But it's all the other stuff that's made it really, really rewarding.
So tell us what's next. Like, I know the immediate next is Detroit or the road to Detroit, you know, and all of the things. But like, is this something that you think is going to, is this just going to be life for you until ... Or is this leading towards something? Are you looking to use this as a way to springboard into something else?
I would love, like, it is very much a ... I don't have my planning goes, as far as maybe 2 weeks in advance. I don't, I'm trying not to overthink things. I'm trying to just do things as they come, as opportunities present themselves, be available to say yes. My next couple of weeks, which includes obviously traveling from here to Detroit, and as you said, the stops along the way. I'm going to be leaving here in the Phoenix area Thursday morning, and Friday night I'll be in Denver for a game, then Kansas City the next day, St. Louis the next day, Cincinnati the next day, Pittsburgh the next day, Cleveland the next day, and then obviously be in Detroit. So like I'm literally doing 6 different ballparks in 6 different cities in the 6 days that it's taking me to get from here to Detroit. And this is also like, this wasn't something that I had planned in advance. This was something that was like kind of inspired by the spring training thing where I did the 10 ballparks in 10 days. And I'm like, I kind of want to go to all 30 MLB ballparks technically it's still spring until June, but over the spring and summer. So I'm trying to get as many in as possible. And, I ended up doing 8 ballparks last year very spontaneously. I did 11 games at 8 ballparks. Just see how epic I can put something together as far as a road trip itinerary.
So ballparks, how many have you, like, all together now, how many have you checked off?
Before last year, it honestly hadn't been that many. I had gone to a Marlins game at Old Joe Robbie before it was the new ballpark. That was back in like '97 when they still had Gary Sheffield and Moises Alou and the squad that ended up winning the World Series that year. And I had been to obviously a bunch of Rays games in the trash can that Tropicana Field is. But in the postseason of, I think it was 2019, they were playing the NL Divisional Series against the Astros, and I went with my brother to games 3 and 4 in St. Pete, and got the spontaneous idea for game 5 to drive to Houston. And that was really my first extensive road trip outside of the Bay Area, and it was such a blast that it just kind of reignited the ideas that I had as a teenager that I wanted to do, the cross country and go to as many parks as I could. So yeah, that I had been to Tropicana Field. I had been to Houston. What's it called now? Minute Maid Park or something. And then the old Marlins Stadium before they well, it's not even demolished. It's now been renovated for the Dolphins. Well, before they built the new stadium there. So very, very small list. Very small list. I've tripled it since then.
So, like, is it, how many are you thinking this summer you're going to? Are you trying to hit them all, finish them all off?
Trying to hit them all. Let's full send, man. Just go epic.
That's
so I've already done 3 this year. I started off in Seattle because I was up there already for University of Washington's Pro Day. Then on my way back down here to Phoenix, I hit Oakland. I could have gone back. I was considering going back over to LA for when the Rays were in town to watch the Rays against the Angels, but I ended up not doing that. It ended up being a great decision because I met a bunch of new friends here in Phoenix, and we've had a really great time. did some rock climbing yesterday for the first time. Had a really great time doing that. I'm going to Top Golf here literally as soon as I'm done with you. First time for Top Golf. So yeah, a lot of firsts, a lot of great new experiences.
All of these experiences, obviously, you know, and driving everywhere, comes with money. How can people, if people want to support you, like in this endeavor, like how can they support you? How can they get a hold of you? How can they follow your journey? Give us every way that people can, you know, say, you know what, I really like what Mike Margittai is doing, and I wanna continue to follow what he's doing. I want to you know, support him with whatever it is I could. Tell people how they can do that.
Awesome. I appreciate you even bringing that up, because I don't like to ask anybody for anything. I fund all this on my own. But my handle at Draft Maverick there for Twitter, there's a link tree that's on my Twitter account that will direct you to my Instagram and everything. I do a lot of stories for what I'm doing live. I fall behind on the posting. I don't take enough time. I don't slow down enough to really document it as well as I should. And I need to do a better job at that. But yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, at Draft Maverick, it'll have a link to everything else, that everywhere else you can find me for, you know, Instagram and whatever. I do have a Patreon that I don't keep up with. I do have a Substack that I just started that I, you know, put one little part one of however many I was going to do, and I just don't give myself enough time. I don't allot myself enough time, and then I also, as far as writing and stuff like that, I'm terrible at writing. I over critique myself, and I edit myself 1,000 times and drive myself absolutely insane. So I need to do better at that. I'm trying. I just need to slow down a little bit, and you know, what I need to do honestly is I need to live stream some of these road trips. You know, if I'm in the car for multiple hours, I'm definitely willing to talk to people. I'm definitely, you know, if you want to, I just have
Like
to have, I just have
like
to
an
find
ask
a way.
me anything type of thing. Like while you're
Exactly.
on the road for 5 hours.
Absolutely. I just have to find the right outlet to do it. So if anybody has any suggestions on that, hey, definitely tweet at me or message me. You can message Gene also. He'll know where to find me. So, you know, any suggestions that anybody has, I would definitely be open to it. Sometimes when you're out on the back roads and you're away from civilization, you don't have a very good cell signal though, so you're not going to be, you know, streaming too well, but it's definitely an idea that I have. I just have to execute on it.
Well, Mike, I will tell you that you are an inspiration. I want people to understand that it's so easy for us to make the decisions that make life harder for us, right? It's so easy to make the decisions that make our grief other people's grief. It's
Right.
another thing to take that grief, to take that anxiety, to take that feeling of dread and try to turn it into something of love, right?
Right.
Continue to connect with people, continue to tell your story, because I really and truly believe that every time you tell your story, it makes the story easier, more malleable, you know. And
Right.
so I hope that you continue to tell your story. But you know what I tell you, I hope you continue to keep putting the boots to the soil. Because
Yeah.
at the end of what we do as former athletes, it's still about the work, right? And you gotta get the work. So continue to do that. Safe travels as you embark on this next journey. Hopefully there are some not bad on the eyes people that will be at this Top Golf thing that you're going to this afternoon or this evening. Because you know, why not? Why not? So
Hey, it's Scottsdale. Everybody's good looking here.
oh my gosh, they are. It's one of the things that I was still struck by. It's like, and I was just talking to someone else about this. like we as men are so lucky because women are just beautiful. Like it's just so many different types. One of the reasons why I don't understand like plastic surgery or like a lot of the stuff that women are doing to try to make themselves look better is that the different dynamics, the different looks are what make them all so beautiful in the first place. Like I love it. And so yeah, we're lucky, we're fortunate. Hopefully there's some of those there. Don't be afraid to say hello and don't be afraid to sing a karaoke song in front of them. That's what I got for you.
Hey, you know I'm shy, but I've done karaoke several times since, multiple times in Chicago, which if you know Chicago,
the Shy is great.
Shy is great. Monterey, California. Yeah, definitely a few places. I should incorporate that into my content also and try to find a karaoke place in every city that I go to and at least one song. But yeah, I do a lot of sing along parts. If I'm live streaming, you're gonna hear me sing for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the two things that I've really been hammering home is the winging it thing, which I think is just a great idea, great opportunity to have, but then also a karaoke bar hop around America. Like that's one thing I've got on, especially with college football being in places where you can find karaoke anywhere there's a college at, like there's going to be a night that's a karaoke night. I'm looking into trying to incorporate it into some content because I just want to do it because it's fun. Right? I just want to do it because it's fun.
And you're good at it. You got a great voice.
Well, yeah, I was intimidated. That makes it better.
I wasn't just shy. I was intimidated. I was like, how can I follow that?
Oh, well, now you're just flattering me. And I'll take it, because I'll take it. Mike Margittai. Mike Margittai. See, I almost did it. I overthought it again. Mike Margittai at Draft Maverick, footballalliance.com. Make sure that you go follow him, go hit the link tree, see how you can support him, see what you can do to follow him along this journey. It's been fascinating to watch and to see him move. Mike, thank you. I really do appreciate you joining me.
I appreciate you, my guy.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great.
Next up, we will be talking to Michelle Rabinovich. Rabinovich is all these names that make it really difficult on a guy like me, which shouldn't be because I'm an English teacher. I feel so embarrassed sometimes. But Michelle Rabinovich will be here to talk about the WNBA draft last night and also to talk about my Yankees. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This is Talk Spicy on the Riptide Media Network.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Thing on the end of theirs, like the telegram. What is that? Like, yo, it's a paper. Let's get to the work. Michelle, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it.
Me.
You being in New York, you get a chance to see a lot of action, right? You get to be in the thick of a lot of action. You've had access to a lot of really awesome things.
Yeah. I'm spoiled. I'm lucky. I'm blessed. All of it.
Spoiled, lucky, and blessed. I like to think that you are also like good at what you do, right? You're dedicated. That helps. Those things help. Like we don't want to minimize that when you get opportunities, it is on you to then take advantage of said opportunities, right?
For sure.
And so it's one thing to go to college in a place that just always has a lot of news and newsworthy things going on. It's another thing to be able to produce content that people want to like read, you know?
Yeah.
And so that matters. I wanted to bring you on because number one, I'm a Yankees fan. And so I just want to, talk noise about my Yankees. So I was like, what better way than to have someone just say all of the stuff for me so I don't have to actually take any of the, oh, you just trying to stroke off the Yankees. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Duh, I'm a Yankees fan. That's what I'm supposed to do. So tell me about this start for the Pinstripe Boys. Like what does it look like from your perspective being someone in New York?
Okay, so the energy is so there. And I want to start with Alex Verdugo. And this whole thing, I mean, we're dogs, to quote him verbatim. Bringing that energy into the clubhouse, it's like it's going around like wildfire. And I think that has, started and kept on going a bunch of momentum, save for, the last like few losses, especially with last night. And I'm blanking on the last one right now. But it's been such a momentum swing that was absolutely absent last season, because last season, like if they were down, by the middle innings, that's it. They gave up, threw in the towel, whatever metaphor you could find, insert, because it fits. And now it's like, nope, not giving up without a fight. Granted, there are so many like key differences that enable them to keep on fighting. Volpe and
there's no way this guy's getting out of New York, right? Like there's no, like you can't, if this continues, like if it becomes a season where he is just killing it and everybody has a slump because it's baseball, right? But if this is what he's going to be, how is he leaving? Like who's letting him out of town?
I mean, a lot of my friends said every time he hits a home run, my friends say that Hal should write him a blank check. So he might leave if he doesn't get a blank check.
That's true.
But
there's only a handful of teams that can offer him a blank check.
Yeah.
Right. So if he's leaving, he's not going to any old place. And some of these teams, like, I don't understand how, like the Dodgers they can't have any more money to give.
I mean, not with the most recent scandal.
Right? I mean, they might want to relax on some of this money that they've been giving out. So, he's been great. I like where they have Stanton in the lineup, like where there's not as much pressure.
Yeah,
for him to it's almost as if the production that he gives you is a plus, right? But it's still really valuable production. Saw some changes at the top of the order.
Yeah.
They've been kind of they've been tweaking with some things at the top of the order, and then obviously there's pitching.
Yeah.
This team, if they don't get anybody back, and I'm not saying names because I don't want to jinx the fact that he might not come back, but if they don't get anyone back, is this pitching staff good enough to win a World Series. It's
Nope.
New York. We're not talking about pennants.
Nope. I'm calling it now. If nobody returns from the IL, nope. Point blank. Because Rodon, when he's good, he's great. And when he's not good, when his stuff isn't on, he's iffy at best. And relying on defense is only going to get him so far. Or if he's just having a really tough day. And we've seen him have tough days in last season and even in earlier starts, both in spring training and in, the few starts he's had now. If his infield and outfield isn't carrying him, and if he doesn't have his stuff and he has to rely on the bullpen, that bullpen's going to get tired. And we've seen that happen. And where has that, I'm sorry. We have recent history to prove for, what happens when the bullpen is out of it. Nestor, also kind of spotty. We saw a great performance. I was actually out sick when he went, 8 innings, and he just, pitched lights out. And the one day I was sick, it was probably one of the best performances I think I've heard of from Nestor. And, my time in really looking at the Yankees under a microscope. And then the most recent pitching performance that Nestor had, it was night and day, just awful. And I get it. This isn't an exact science. It's not like 2 + 2, or it's not like being in a chemistry lab. But we had to call him the bullpen earlier. Luis Heel had a tougher night yesterday. And that's tough. But when you have to call in the bullpen more and more often, with shaky, less than 1,000% certain characters like Ron Marinaccio and Clay Holmes, even though Clay has been on the up and up, in my opinion, it's not looking, like the World Series is, in the bag already, moving on to 2025. It's not looking like that. I'm sorry. I'm thinking who else? Oh, excuse my notification. I'm sorry. I need to look at oh my God, I'm blanking on the rest of the lineup. Stroman, I think he's someone that's really solid. I think he had a tough stat line. I should have absolutely pulled up all my notes, and I feel like I'm ill prepared, but I feel like he's good. Yeah, I feel like if anyone is the most solid, most reliable, it's probably going to be Marcus Stroman, Clark Schmidt with a close second. So yeah, I can't say I'm not confident in this rotation. I'm saying that if they get certain players back, both, starting and rotation pieces, bullpen pieces back, that would, and, assuming that they come back into full health that they were in previously, that would bolster a lot of confidence in the front office and in fans. If they come back with anything less than that, it's going to be a little iffy. And after that, you got to hope that defense and the bats are on point for the rest of, the season.
So if the bats aren't the bats, this lineup can't. I mean, this pitching staff, you don't believe can just hold the water when the bats aren't the bats.
No, and I'm going to give you a clear example. Stroman, I think, in his second outing, at the home opener, when they lost to Toronto, he pitched. Oh my God, I don't remember how many innings he pitched, but he went scoreless in his outing, and it was a long outing. It was something like 5 innings, something like that. Scoreless, he did his job to a T, and the bats did not really help out that much. So I want to say if those two work together like a marriage, clear as day. Pennant, we're past that. We're going on to the World Series. But in a moment where it's the pitching is doing what it can, and then after that, it just needs some offense. And if they're not delivering, granted, if the pitching isn't delivering and the bats are kind of, then we just get a slugfest like we saw in that 9-8 win the day after, which was just funny. But if we get stacked on days where the pitching does what it's supposed to, if the starting rotation does what it's supposed to, and they put in 100, 110 pitches and shutouts after shutout innings, and then the bats are just getting struck out, it's just there's only so much that an arm can do before the elbow bursts, regrettably.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the plight of pitching these days. Is the better the pitcher, the more likely that there's an elbow shoulder injury coming at some point. I want to pivot. I want to talk WNBA. The WNBA draft was yesterday, right? I'm not getting my days mixed up.
No.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Mm.
Caitlin Clark was the first overall pick. We got that. Everybody's cool with that. And then it got interesting, right? Because number 2, the Los Angeles Sparks took Cameron Brink, and then they came back at 4 and took Rakia Jackson.
Mm.
I'm not here to say either one of those young ladies are not really good players, right? Like, that's not what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at what the Chicago Sky did at number 3. They got the most intimidating figure in all of women's college basketball. And then they went and got Angel Reese.
Yeah.
Like she was still on the board at 7. Like, again, no disrespect to Rakia Jackson.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Cameron Brink.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking either one of them over Angel Reese. And I know that people look at Angel Reese and a lot of it is, oh, well, they think that it's more like hype. But if you just look at the game and the way she plays for kind of an archaic coach, like the way in which she thinks about the game, it's still relative to the old philosophy of you've got a 1, you've got a 2, you've got a power forward and a center. And so she to a large extent hasn't really been able to show all of her game.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's only one person that was taken in the first round of the draft, only one, who averages over 10 rebounds a game. And her name is Angel Reese, and she plays in the most difficult conference in all of women's basketball, the SEC, where you have to play killers, right? So I'm looking at this because I'm a Los Angeles Sparks fan, right? And I'm looking at the fact that they no longer have Neko Ogwumike. So now they're replacing her. They went and got 2 forwards that kind of do similar things to repopulate when they could have gotten a center forward combination like Cardosa and Angel Reese, whom could be a power forward or could really be a 3 in the WNBA. What did you think about how those 2 teams specifically stacked their draft picks?
Well, I'm a little bit better versed in Chicago and like how they're structured. Not as well in LA. I'll be honest, they're a bit of a blind spot for me. But I do know that, I would never still knock on Cameron and her skill set. Like, she's what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was monumental in the Pac-12. I saw some of the highlights literally this morning as I was scrolling on my phone, and I'm like, this girl's dominant. So she's still powerful. She's still talented. She's got all the goods right there. But I can answer on the flip side of that. I know what Chicago was looking at. I didn't realize that the draft is as much of a response to what others do as players more are taken by teams that have prior picks to you. That didn't really click for me until the moment that the draft came. And so when I saw in response that Chicago picked up Camila Cardoso and then Angel, I was like, okay, they're getting 2 really tall players that are aggressive AF at the boards. I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. So that's their strategy with those 2, and those 2 that we've seen match up physically. They're no one's beating those 2 together on the same team. Forget about it. As for LA, I really don't know what their thought process was. Cameron is good. And Rakia, I haven't seen her game too much. I will be honest. I was a little bit mesmerized with just Caitlin Clark. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to front. I'm really not.
How are you mesmerized by her?
If there's anyone I'm a fan of, and her game specifically, it's Caitlin Clark.
Okay. You're mesmerized by her game. I'm like,
I really am.
You can't be mesmerized by anything else by her, though. I mean, come on.
I mean, she's a pretty girl, but her game is even prettier.
Yeah, not even on to looks, because if we're being honest, I'm about to bring up some stuff, but
stop.
No, I'm serious. It's not she's ugly or anything, but there are some lookers in this draft. This draft had some beautiful women in it. And so Caitlin Clark ain't gonna be at the top of that list. Her game is sweet. Her game is nice. right?
Gorgeous.
But then even personality, like I watched her little thing on SNL, and I was like impressed that she like looked poised on SNL, but she's got some refining to do. I bet there's a Caitlin Clark that we don't see.
100%.
Right? Like there's her that's probably a lot more funny, a lot more engaging, a lot more charismatic than what we see. But we haven't seen it yet, so I can't judge her on it because we haven't seen it. I need to see more of it.
I'm gonna be so honest. I saw that SNL skit, and then I'm thinking to myself, I was like, okay, Caitlin, you're doing great. Now I want to see you 2 shots of tequila in and doing this again. And I know that's gonna be fun.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, yo, if she was just on a little of that wine, a little of that good stuff, like it would be a lot different. And
100%.
And I'm not like advocating for her to go get drunk or anything, but
listen, everyone has their choice. Free country.
Well, listen, she's from Iowa. If there's one thing I know about Iowa and the surroundings, is that they have never been afraid to drink.
Bless.
Right? Especially because it's so cold in the winter. It's so like isolated. It's like, what else are you doing? Right? So I'm interested to see how the personality continues to come along with the game. Because that's where you get out of here. Like that's where the endorsements get like crazy. It's not just, oh, you're really, really good at the game. It's you're really, really good at the game, and you have a level of charisma about you that makes people want to be around you. And so I think that's one of the things. I also think it's interesting because people were talking about Caitlin Clark's contract, which I thought was ridiculous. I talked about this in the first. In my opening,
don't get me
30.
Started. That's gonna get me so triggered. Don't get me started.
Well, no, but here's the thing. This isn't something new. This didn't just happen.
It's not. Thank you. It's not new. It's a standard rookie contract.
This is the standard. If you don't like it, then patronize the WNBA a little bit more. Like instead of complaining about what they make. If they're only bringing in $60 million, you can't be out here paying people $5 and $6 million a year to play basketball. That's not a recipe for a business that's going to last.
Yeah,
and they're trying to last. I want to bring up this because I was looking at it and I was like, oof. Right. So 3-on-3 pod because I want to give them credit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had this up and it was kind of like a red carpet look. Where did this go? Come on, people. So it's a red carpet look, right? And so they did a whole thread on the red carpet looks, and I'm just going to go down. I want to go down and I want us to look at these. Right now, we're looking at Angel Reese. And all I'm going to tell you is the people who said that Angel Reese was not good looking, I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Immediately disproven.
Like
instantaneously.
Like this woman looks like she looks like a movie star.
Yeah.
Like she looks like she's about to be in the opening of some big like blockbuster action movie where she's the starlet, like I don't even understand that.
She looked gorgeous and she looked so like poised, and I was like, oh my god, you look like such a beautiful young woman. Like girl to girl. I was just like, wow.
Beautiful. By the way, because she looks good like in some basketball shorts and a tank top.
Yeah.
So if she looks good in some basketball shorts and a tank top, what did you people think she was going to show up at the draft? If there was anybody that was going to show up at the WNBA draft and look like this, it was Angel Reese.
Yeah.
Right? So she was tops. She looked phenomenal. She's just going to have to deal with the fact that people are going to look at her as a sex symbol. I don't know what else to tell her. Like,
and that breaks my heart.
This is the I'm sorry, but like, this is the cross that you have to bear when you look like that. Like when you look that good, people are going to look at you and go, oh my gosh, and they're not going to notice the game at first. Like that's an unfortunate thing. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish people could go, oh, yo, she's a really good baller and she looks good. But man, like she looks good and she's not afraid to let you know that she looks good. So guess what? We're going to have to deal with it. Aaliyah Edwards in the all white.
I loved it.
I thought this was a great
fringe
look.
on the sides.
Yes.
I thought it was really cool. It was a unique twist on classy. I'm gonna go full fashion critic. I thought Aaliyah looked great. Probably one of my favorite dresses.
No, that's what we're here for. And see, because she looks like this in the white.
Yeah.
This is why I wasn't really with the Caitlin Clark.
Thank you. I've been waiting for someone to say this. Like, I'm over here. I'm like, okay, it's great. It's monumental. Prada is dressing someone for the draft. Men's or women's first time that Prada's dressing someone. Great. Monumental. Love it. It is classy. I love the details on the cuffs. Like, cool. It's a little mid.
It's not a little mid. It's not a little mid. Like, in my opinion, I'm like, yo, Prada, this what you gave her?
Yeah.
This is what you gave the future face of a league. Like did you not see what Angel Reese was wearing? Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, you had to come with something better. And I get it. Like, this is kind of like this is a look that you go, oh, well, it's her in her cute bag, but also, still kind of that modest Iowa feel.
Yeah.
But nah. This was not given for me, not at all. This was the energy on this.
I'm a little conflicted.
I don't know if I liked the outfit. I don't know if I liked it or if I just liked her like energy in it.
Her energy was fire.
And then to have the golds in there, like, come on.
I actually didn't see that come press conference. I didn't see the teeth detail or the sunnies, to be fair. But so I liked the confidence that it gave her because intrinsically that's what, like, when you wear your best stuff and your makeup and you do your hair, intrinsically that's supposed to give you confidence to be your best self, yada, yada, yada. So that did its purpose. She was confident. She felt great. She was awesome talking to the press. Like, the clothes did what they were supposed to. I'm never going to take that away. I think like, I remember that skirt. I think it had a slit in the back, and I wasn't really the biggest fan of it. I think she could have. I would have done like the top piece a little bit more tightly fitted because she can show that off. But it was like underwhelming.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I just like I like the confidence. I like the confidence in it.
Me too. Like, that was beautiful.
Now, Cameron Brink, on the other hand, is going to make a lot of money on the side.
I was in love.
Putting people's clothes on. Like, it's not even like, I'm not even sitting over here saying, oh my gosh, Cameron Brink is so gorgeous. Like, she's so beautiful. She is. The clothes just look really, really good on her.
Well,
like, she has one of those frames.
Yo, I've been saying this since day one. God has favorites, and Cameron Brink is very obviously one of those favorites.
Yeah. God definitely looked out for her.
Oh, for sure. He did not miss.
He was like, oh, let me give you these extremely long legs and this torso that is proportionate enough to where you can rock all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Without looking. And then she has, like, her shoulders aren't so broad that it takes the angles away.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's a beautiful look. And and for all by the way, for all the people who are listening on the radio, I apologize that we're going through this and you can't see it. But if you would go to 3on3 Pod, at 3on3 Pod, and number one, give them a follow because they don't have a lot of followers. But whoever put this together, this is fantastic. Now, this is one of my favorite looks, and not necessarily because I like the dress, because I really don't like the dress.
Mm-hmm.
But Alyssa, is it Pilley?
I'm actually blanking, I think.
Alyssa Pilley, I always forget, but her game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I know that much. Her game is fantastic. I like the tribal on the leg.
Yeah.
And the tribal on the dress.
That's cool. I did love that.
Yeah. I didn't necessarily like the dress itself, but I love the way that she incorporated that tribal look and then was confident enough to have the tribal on the leg with the tribal on the dress. Now, I'm voting her as probably the most like I want to go and hang out and have some drinks with.
Okay. I see where you're going with. Like she
Like,
was cool with the core.
yeah, I think that she would be fun to hang out with.
Mhm.
Daisha Fair, like, came with the suit game.
She was on it.
Yeah, the suit game was serious. The lapel had some adornments on it that I thought was fly.
I
You know,
loved it.
it's a really classic like draft look.
Yeah.
It was teetering on promise. It was teetering on promise, but I think she kept it. You know, she kept it on a fly, more elevated level than just promise.
I was in love with this dress.
Oh my gosh, this dress
Oh my god.
was one of my favorites. I just
Like,
love this color and the
I was
way
in, it looks so good on her.
oh my gosh. And that like, I mean, that beautiful dark skin
Mm-hmm.
and then the dress on the skin, like it was fantastic in my opinion. This was, if Angel Reese wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
this would have been my favorite.
Easily.
This would have been my favorite dress. Now, I've already told you, like Cameron Brink,
Mm-hmm.
like she is God's hanger,
100%.
right? She's God's hanger. But this dress on this woman,
Yeah.
this was a mood. This was a vibe. I loved it.
It's beautiful. Like I could see this at like a black tie wedding. It was just gorgeous. I don't think I heard a single complaint about her from any of the other like writers, reporters, whatever. Everyone, we were all just like, "Oh my god, she's stunning." Or,
Yeah. Her in this dress, it was just fantastic. I actually really like this look for Camila Cardoso.
I loved it. What a
And
power move.
and I love the smile. Like,
Yeah.
I think her like she's such an intimidating figure because she's so big
Mhm.
that I think that a lot of times those those people when they're that big is one of the reasons why I love Liz Cambage, right?
Mm.
Is that she is not afraid to be like a strong, feminine woman, even though she's 6'9". You know, like that's what I get from this. Is like this is her opportunity to tell people, yo, I'm more than just that scowling girl you see on the court, like bullying people out of the way and grabbing rebounds. I really love this look on her.
Yeah. No, I think it was perfect for her. Like, yeah, anybody could wear a dress, but the way Camilla bodied like a power suit, I was like, I stood up straight when I saw this. I was like, yeah, you go, girl.
Yeah, I just want to be next to her
Right?
and be like feed off this energy. It's an electric energy
We would both have
coming
to
from
look up
that in
to her,
that
but
dress. For sure.
yeah.
I've already blown past my break, but it's cool. JC Sheldon, in this kind of real simple, black sleeveless thing. It was all right.
I respect it.
It was
Less
all
is
right.
more, subtle.
It was
simple.
cocktail party-ish.
Yeah. Dressed up cocktail. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I respect it. Less is more. All that. Very much girl next door, but up a notch or two. I
Mhm.
respect it. I know nothing against it.
Yeah, but not memorable. Not memorable. Rakia Jackson, I really like this kind of if you're looking from one side, it would have been a dress, and the other side, it's kind of, like I think she took some risk, and I
Yeah,
don't mind a risk taker.
that's where I disagree. This is not the time. This is not the place where I would have taken a risk.
You don't think that the WNBA draft is where you could take some fashion risk?
No, because this is like your first outward appearance, not first, but it's like an outward appearance towards the league. It's where your like future teammates see you. You want to put your best foot forward. That's just my very like kind of personally conservative kind of opinion about, how I would want to present myself. Like if I'm going effectively for a job interview, not the day I would take a fashion risk.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm very like strict and restrictive within myself. So that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Celeste Taylor.
A
I
vibe.
like the little. I like
Yeah.
the little. You know, the white suit with almost kind of like a I was thinking it was kind of like a gi, like the karate gi with the
Mm-hmm.
belt in the front, just kind of tied there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like there's different ways that you can change this jacket up to look different,
Yeah.
like to lay different, because of the way that it kind of cinches together.
I think this was a fire fit. Like very like cool, like leveled up business professional. That's my
Yeah,
take on it. And I liked it.
yeah, not bad at all.
And she brought fun energy.
Um,
Like, look at that pose. Like she brought fun energy.
yeah, she was there to have fun. She was
Yeah.
there to have fun, and I think that's always a good thing when you come to have a little fun, and you know, good thing, because I don't think she went in the first round. So, um, you know, keeping that energy up is probably going to be good for her. Marquisha Davis, she's going to be in your backyard,
She
New
is.
Liberty,
She is.
and I think actually low key a really good like pickup. They need defensive presence
Yeah.
on the perimeter, and I think she brings like a legit defensive presence. But enough about her actual basketball game. What about the dress?
I want to see more of a frontal view, but from what we see from the profile, solid. It's not cocktail. It's like, what's a step up from cocktail? Formal black tie, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it felt like a gala. It felt like a gala dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean, like I said, you know, prom-ish, gala-ish. I don't really know if I'm rocking it, but she did her thing. Capris showed up. Charisma Osborne had on capri type pants, right? Wouldn't they be considered like capri type pants?
I think capris are a little higher up.
A little higher.
Because
What
this
would
looks
we
like
call
it's
these?
just high ankle. Because
Okay.
capris I think are closer to mid shin.
Okay.
Looks like it's just above the ankle.
All right. Showing off the shoes. You know, the shoes and the bag combination had me a little bit. I was trying to work the combo of shoes and bag together.
Mm.
I couldn't work it together. This really looked like kind of dressed down, like brunch. This felt brunchish to me.
Yeah, save for the heels. Yeah, it's brunch. It's a lot more casual compared to like the first 7 A-list stars looking like the first 7 people that looked like A-list stars.
For sure. And then Elizabeth Kitley,
Mm-hmm.
who came, I think she missed a perfect opportunity to like lace up a pair of crutches. Like to really like have some crutches look like bedazzle up some crutches.
Oh yeah.
Like do something crazy with the crutches. If I've got to be on crutches on the biggest day of my life, right? To that point, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make sure that, you know, those crutches don't just look like somebody just gave those to me out of the ambulance.
Yeah. No, I
Like,
agree. That's a good point.
other than that, because she's a beautiful smile. Like you could tell she was probably a little bummed, you know, about being there all broken up, but you know, not a bad look. Just I don't know. I'd have did some of those crutches.
No, for
And
sure.
then the last one we see Aaliyah Boston and her get up.
Mm-hmm.
But like overall, not a bad showing, right? Not a bad showing.
Oh,
and that's
sure.
why I was like, if Caitlin Clark's gonna if you're gonna be pretty, Caitlin Clark, let me tell you, from one guy who likes fashion, like you're gonna have to step your game up.
Yeah.
These WNBA players who care about fashion, they're not playing games.
Yeah,
they're coming out there to like kill.
Yeah.
You know, and so like if that's not what she's on, it's gonna be a hard day for her.
For sure.
From that. But from what I can see, Cameron Brink, she's ready for prime time. Like Cameron Brink's ready for prime time, and obviously Angel Reese is already prime time. Like she showed up. I guess she's the embodiment of she understood the assignment.
Oh, yes.
Right?
And you know, I was really pleasantly surprised. Like she understood the assignment. She came in like confidence, shoulders down, chin up. And she was like so kind and sweet. I think she also had a shoe change, which I thought was really funny.
Nice.
No, I was like, I felt that. I felt that in my heart as a girl, because heels suck.
Yeah, we appreciate them. As a guy, I would like to thank all of you for your sacrifice. And I would appreciate if you continue to sacrifice your feet for the betterment of me to see you in heels, because you all look phenomenal in them. A good pair. And you know what the truth is, women, as much as y'all can complain about these heels you wearing, because you know they work. They work.
They really did work on Angel. They did.
Oh my gosh. They work on everyone, but they were definitely working on Angel.
They were definitely working on Angel.
Shout out to Angel Reese.
Amen. No, she looked great, and she was so sweet. Like, I was so nervous when I asked my question in the presser, and she was like so excited, and she was so cool. And I was like, maybe it was the atmosphere and the fact that she just got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
But she was great. I was like, wow, I was scared for nothing.
Did you get a chance to talk to all of the ladies?
No, I was in the draft hall for I think the first 5 picks, and then at one point I was like, I should head upstairs for the press conference. So I fully missed Caitlin and Cameron. I lied. I did. I walked past Cameron on my way into the media room, and as she was exiting out, and I fully like looked up and I was like, wow, that's a tall woman. And I'm like, wow, I'm tiny.
Wow, that's a tall woman.
No, because I'm like 5'8"
in
sneakers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, God has favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Shout out to him for that too, or to whatever God is.
Great work. Sure. Great work with Cameron. Great work.
Fantastic. You know what? Let's just take an opportunity to give God a little applause right here.
No,
Cameron Brink, you did your thing. You done good, God. You done good. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Rabinovich, tell everybody where they can find you and find all of your work and all of the amazing things that you are doing.
Oh my God, my stuff is all over.
Spout them all out. I've got time.
Appreciate you for that. First and foremost, my Twitter, MRABINOVICH 03. Just my first initial, full last name, 03, my year of birth. Just turned 21 recently. Let's go. That has my link tree. Yeah, that has my link tree that has links to, the bajillion and a half bylines that I have in the Long Island Herald community newspaper, in Tunnel Vision Sports, in the Chronicle, in AM New York, AM's free daily newspaper. Probably gonna have more bylines. I don't know where, but imminently, knowing me, I'll have more bylines. Don't know where. But yeah, that first and foremost, my Twitter that has the most updated stuff. My Instagram, Misha, MISHAA.Rabinovich. That's for things outside of work. I like things other than work. I like comedy and running and my cat. So there's more to me than just this. There's more to me than just ball.
There's more to her than just ball. I'm not even you just be walking into you just walk into
I know.
You like your cat, and there's more to you than just ball. You know what? We're gonna, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for Michelle. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate it. We'll have you back on here soon. Make sure that you follow her at all of the places that she told you to follow her at, because I'm not going to try to do all that. And stay tuned. We'll be back for an abbreviated, and we'll end with a little talk about the NBA play-in game coming up. This is Talk Spicy. I am Coach Gene Clemens. It is the Riptide Media Network.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Hofstra Chronicle or whatever they call it at the school. I always forget. I'm sorry, Michelle. And Mike Margittai for joining me and talking about his journeys and being able to go through the Cactus League and his goal to see a baseball game at every baseball park before the end of the spring and or summer. I'm sure he'll make it because he ain't got nothing else to do. It's great. We're getting ready tonight. For you that don't know, I am a avid Los Angeles Lakers fan. Don't ask me how I ended up being a Yankees fan and a Lakers fan. You know what? I'll tell you exactly how I became a fan of all these different things. I'm going to lay out all of my teams so I'm not being a hypocrite or a bandwagon jumper when I tell you this. So I was born in Paterson, New Jersey, and as a young kid, we moved around. My family is from Tampa, Florida, mostly. And so, or the base of the family is in Tampa, Florida. And so as a young kid growing up, when I was moving around, before I really knew enough about sports, right? I was still, I'm talking like pre-10, 5, 6, 7 years old. We moved to Chicago. And in Chicago, I moved there right around the time where the Bulls were becoming the Bulls. Now, my brother, who's with me, he is a Chicago everything fan. But it was weird because it was like the sibling rivalry. Oh, you only like him because I like him. So I went away from liking Chicago teams because my brother didn't like that I liked the same team. Yeah, I'm blaming him. I don't care. So what? So as I grew up and I started to know more things, I adopted teams based off of what I saw on TV and where I was. So we moved back down to Tampa when I got into middle school, which is where I really developed like a love for sports as someone watching sports. And what I saw on my television all the time was North Carolina basketball. It was Florida State and Florida football and Miami football. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was the New York Yankees. And it was the Los Angeles Lakers because I didn't have cable. And so the Sunday games a lot of times were Lakers and Bulls and Celtics. I didn't like the Celtics for reasons you could probably figure out. I didn't like the Bulls because my brother liked the Bulls. I became a Lakers fan. And I have been a Lakers fan. And Magic Johnson is my favorite player of all time. Anybody will tell you I can talk about basketball objectively, but if you're asking me who my favorite player of all time is in basketball, it is Magic. I believe he is the all-time greatest Laker of all time, not Kobe. God bless the dead. I believe that he is the greatest point guard of all time. And I don't care who doesn't agree with me. Like, this is my opinion for the guy that I love and the team that I love. So I'm a Lakers fan. And tonight the Lakers are going to be in the play-in game, right? So they're going to be in a play-in game. I believe the game starts at 7:30 Eastern time. And so the Lakers played the New Orleans Pelicans in the play-in game, the 7-8 play-in game, to decide who will be the 7th seed. Now, if they lose, then they have to play the winner of the 9-10 game for the 8th seed. Now, somewhere, Greeny from Mike Greenberg from ESPN said that the Lakers should lose on purpose versus New Orleans because they should be trying to avoid playing the Denver Nuggets. Needless to say, most people who are like athletes probably don't agree with that, right? I'm not going to speak for other athletes. I'm going to tell you, me, as an athlete, I think that's the biggest crock that I have ever heard in my life. Not only is it foolhardy to try to lose on purpose, like it's a sham to try to lose on purpose, but now you're not paying the respect to Golden State or the respect to Sacramento because you're saying we're going to lose on purpose because we feel like we can beat you two. That makes no sense. No, I'm going to win. I'm going to finish off my season on a win. I'm going to go into Denver with my Anthony Davis playing like an MVP caliber Anthony Davis to go against your Jokic, who is the MVP. I'm going to take my chances that 1-for-1, we can cancel each other out. I need Anthony Davis to play at the level that Anthony Davis has played throughout this run at the end of the year. And then I'm going to rest on the fact that you guys don't have a LeBron James. And if I can even out everything else, the math that you can't get by is LeBron James in a 7-game series as one of, if not the most intelligent basketball player we have ever seen. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to attack. That's what I feel the best thing to do is in this case. I'm not going out there and trying to lose on purpose. What kind of clown ass stuff is that? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what people do when you have those who've never played anything at a high level, who've never been competitive in the way that you can go head to head with somebody. I believe Greeny is competitive, but I don't believe that Greeny is competitive in a head to head situation. That's why he's okay with losing. And I'm never okay with losing. It's never all right to lose to me. I don't care if you're resting your entire starting five. The people that you put out there should be trying their hardest to win. Why? Because that's what we do. So don't give me no scared business, man. I don't want no scared business. I want a team that's trying to win every single time they touch the court. And if you're not good enough, then you're just not good enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m., Riptide Media Network, and Sports Radio 102.9, The Game, the app. Go and get that. Thank you once again to Michelle Rabinovich. Make sure you go follow her on X and wherever you have social media at. Thanks again to Mike Margittai for joining me. Make sure that you follow him at Draft Maverick. Notice I said his and not Michelle's because I can't remember Michelle's thing off the top of my head because it's not as easy as Mike's is. Well, that and there's probably like some words in there that I'm probably going to mess up, and I didn't want to do that. It's always a pleasure to be with you. It's always a pleasure to hang out, and we will see you all next time. Peace.